And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you shall be above only, and not beneath, if you heed the commands of the Lord your God, which I commanded you today, and are careful to observe them. So you shall not turn aside from any words that I commanded you this day, to the right nor to the left, to go to other gods and serve them. But I shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments and his statutes, which I have commanded you today, that all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the country. Cursed shall you be in your baskets and in your kneading bowls. Cursed shall you be in the fruit of your body and in the produce of the land, the increase of your cattle and the offsprings of your flock. Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will send the curses, confusion, and rebuke in all that you set your hands to do, until you are destroyed, and until you perish quickly, because the wickedness of your doings in which you have forsaken me. The Lord will make the plagues cling to you until you have been consumed from the land you are giving to possess. The Lord will strike you with consumption, with fever, with inflammation, with severe burning fever, with the sword, with scorching, and with mildew. They shall pursue you until you will perish. You and your heavens, which are over your head, shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you shall be iron. The Lord will change the rain on the land to powder and dust. From the heavens it shall come down upon you until you are destroyed. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies, and you shall go on your way. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And you shall become troublesome to all the kingdoms of the earth. Your carcasses shall be food for the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth, and no one shall frighten them away. The Lord will strike you with boils of Egypt and tumors, with the scabs and with the itch, from which you cannot be healed. The Lord will strike you with madness and blindness and confusion of the heart, and you shall grope at noonday, as a blind man gropes the darkness. You shall not prosper in your ways. You shall be only oppressed and plundered continuously, and no one shall save you. You shall be betrothed a wife, but another man shall lie with her. And you shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. You shall plant a vineyard, but shall not gather its grapes. Your oxen shall be slaughtered before your eyes, but you shall not eat of it. Your donkey shall be violently taken away from you, and you shall not restore it. Your sheep shall be given to your enemies, and you shall have no rescue of them. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people. In your eyes shall look and fail, and longing for them all day, and there shall be no strength in your hands. A nation whom you have not known shall eat the fruit of your land, the produce of your labor, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed continuously. So you shall be driven to madness because of the sight which your eyes see. The Lord will strike you in the knees and in the legs with severe boils, which cannot be healed, and from the sole of your foot to the top of your head. The Lord will bring you and the king whom you set over a nation, which neither you nor the fathers have known. And there you shall serve other gods of wood and stone. And you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, a byword among the nations, where the Lord will drive you, and you shall carry much seed out to the field and gather little, for the locusts shall consume it. You shall plant vineyards, tend to them, but you shall neither drink of the wine or gather the fruit, the grapes, for the worms have eaten them. You shall have olive trees throughout your territory, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil or the olives. They shall drop off. You shall begot sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, for they shall go into captivity. Locusts shall consume all your trees and produce in your land. The aliens who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down lower and lower. He shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord your God, and keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign, a wonder, and on your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and gladness of your heart for the abundance of everything you have received. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you in hunger and in thirst, in nakedness, in the need of everything. And he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until you have been destroyed. And the Lord will bring a nation against you from the altar, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flies. A nation whose language you will not understand, a nation of fierce contentiousness, which does not respect the elderly, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the increase of your livestock and produce of your hands, your land, until you are all destroyed. They shall not leave you a grain or new wine or oil, as the increase of your cattle or offsprings of the flocks, until they have destroyed you. They shall all besiege you at all the gates until you have your high fortified walls in which your trusts come down throughout all the land. And they shall besiege you at your gates, at all of your gates throughout your land, which the Lord God has given you. You shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and daughters, whom the Lord your God has given you, in the siege and desperate straits in which your enemies shall distress you. The sensitivity and the refined man among you will now be hostile towards his brothers, towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the rest of his children whom he leaves behind, so that he will not give any of them the flesh of his children whom he will eat, because he has nothing left in the siege and desperate straits in which his enemy shall distress you at all your gates. The tender, delicate woman among you, whom would not venture to set a sole of her foot on the ground, because her delicateness and sensitivity will refuse to the husband of her bosom, and to her sons and daughters. Her placenta, which comes out from between her feet and her children whom she bears. For she will eat them secretly for lack of everything in the siege and desperate straits in which your enemies shall distress you at your gates. If you do not carefully observe all the words of this law that are written in the book, that you may fear the glorious and awesome name, the Lord your God, then the Lord will bring upon you all the descents, extraordinary plagues, great and prolonged plagues, and serious and prolonged sicknesses. Moreover, he will bring back to you all the diseases of Egypt, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. Also every sickness and every plague which I have not written in the book of law will the Lord bring upon you until you are destroyed. You shall be left in small numbers, whereas you were in a star of heavens in multitude, because you would not obey the voice of your Lord God. And it shall be that just as the Lord rejoiced over you to doing good and multiplied you, so will the Lord rejoice over destroying you and bringing you to nothing. And you shall be plucked from off the land of which you possess. And the Lord will scatter among all the people from the ends of the earth to the other, and there shall be no God to serve, which there neither of you nor your fathers have ever known, wood or stone. And among those nations you shall find no rest, nor the sole of your foot have a resting place. But there the Lord will bring you to a trembling heart, falling eyes, and anguish of the soul. Your life shall hang in doubt before you, and you shall fear, and day and night have no assurance of life. In the morning you shall say, oh, it is evening, and in the evening you shall say, oh, it is morning, because of the fear which terrifies your heart, and because of the sight which your eyes see. And the Lord will take you back to Egypt in ships, by which way I said to you, you shall never see again. And there you shall be offered for sale to your enemies as a male, female slave, but no one shall buy you. I said so.